Joining me now is Forbes senior contributor, Jack Kelly. Jack, I appreciate you coming back on.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
You're our go-to guy for all things when it comes to career advice, and you wrote a crash course in what to do when you are getting ready for a job interview. So tell us, you land the job interview, then what?
Hey, it's a great question because most people obsess over what do I do in the interview? But I maintain if you do your homework and prepare beforehand, you can have such a better success rate than if you just kind of go into the interview cold. I would say the key element is this. You want to prepare. You want to practice and prepare before you go in. You want to know about the job description inside and out because they're going to ask you about it. You want to, and this is going to sound weird. All right. Don't judge me for this, Brittany.
Not at all.
Don't judge me on it. But you want to kind of stalk the interviewers in a good way because you want to get a sense who they are and what they're about. So then when you go to the interview, you get a sense of, we went to the same schools. Maybe we're in the same town. So then you could have that nice icebreaker conversation when you get started.
How important is that piece? Because there's obviously the key. You need to walk the line of let's not be creepy, but hey, I want some talking points in the back of my head. So when I talk to you, we're from the same hometown. I know someone that went from your school. How do you thread that needle?
You try to be organic and genuine. You don't want to be heavy-handed about it. So if there is something that there's some commonality, I'm a big fan of small talk because I find it so helpful. Because when you go into an interview and you're just staring at the interviewer, just like a psycho stare at them, and you have nothing to say, you're not going to start out on the right foot. But if you could go and say, "Hey, Brittany, I understand, you're in Midtown Manhattan, or I can't remember where you are. I lived there for a while. How is it? How's it like? I moved to the suburbs," just to kind of get that conversation started. So if you're prepared with something like that, it kind of just makes it so much easier, and it makes the interviewer feel more comfortable and relaxed.
And so let's say you're on LinkedIn, you're searching for your interviewer, you find them, you find that piece of commonality that you can start with, but you should also be on LinkedIn looking for people in your network who work at the place you're applying to. Can you speak more to that?
Oh my God, that has to be, to me, one of the best things that you can do. And it's relatively easy. What I suggest for folks, if you're interviewing at, let's say, ABC Widget Company, you want to quickly tap into your network and find, who do I know that works at that company? And best case, you know somebody and you ask them, "Hey, Brittany, can you please put in a good word for me? Can you give a recommendation?" Best case, if maybe you could find two people, because then what happens, the hiring manager or the HR person or the interviewer hears from two or three separate people saying, "Hey, you have to meet Brittany. She's great." So when you come into the interview, you're going to have that halo effect. They're going to come in and already they feel, okay, I heard it from three different people how great Brittany is. So I'm going to come in already feeling she's going to be good. And that's the whole difference between then someone coming in cold, knowing nothing about the interviewer, they don't know nothing about them, they're not being recommended. So I think that's a superpower to do. That's something you want to try to do. And if you don't know anybody at the place, then you just want to make an effort to see who knows somebody who can maybe help you out.
Of course. So that's already, you already have a few notches above the competition. If you come in looking friendly, looking like, that you have a good review from at least a few people. But
Yeah.
when you're talking to the recruiter and they're holding your hand through the whole process, what questions should you even ask them before you get into the door?
That's great because as a recruiter, I've been running a search firm for 25 years, and I find recruiters, sometimes they get a bad rap, but they're very valuable because good recruiters tend to focus on one or two sectors. So they know it really well. And they know the companies, they know the corporate culture, they know the people, they understand kind of the idiosyncrasies of some of the managers. So you could lean into your recruiter and say to him or her, "Hey, give me the feedback. What's the culture like? What's going on there? What's the vibe check? I'm going to meet with Joe and Jane. Give me the deal about Joe and Jane. Do they like the Mets? Do they like the Yankees? Do they like football? what kind of insights can you give me? So this way I feel super comfortable when I'm interviewing because now I feel I know who they are.
Of course,